Here we
Good
are. Good
morning.
morning.
How you guys
Good.
doing?
Well, we are doing just fine. Today we're talking about aging in dogs and humans, a shared journey. I wonder, Roman, through the years, do you think that at any time younger people even think about them aging with their dogs? No.
No,
How
definitely
come
not.
it is? How come it is that older people do? I mean, speaking for myself, 78 years old, I totally recognize it. And I think the importance of us right now, what we want to share is how does this shared journey affect dogs and humans together, and what are the signs that we should be looking for, and what are the things that you should be noticing about your dog that you probably didn't before, or and as a matter of fact, maybe even when they're younger too, because dogs age faster.
Yeah, but first of all, of our viewers, how many of you have a dog that is over 5 years old and you can consider a senior? What a good question. See how many people have senior dogs. Um, I believe the idea of feeling older starts when we start losing our first friend, and then we get in the shock perspective.
Yeah, right.
And this
Yeah.
is where I think people start thinking, oh man, we're getting old. And then all of a sudden you see these kids in the school and we're like, wait, these are actually adults. And for us, it seems like kids. So we have a kind of a perception issue once we kind of to that level of age. But I do believe when we get to our age and we see our senior dogs getting those white hair around their
Uh-huh.
muzzle.
The black dogs mostly, yeah.
Yeah, this is where things kind of like we're getting the gray zone.
The gray zone, yeah, yeah.
Gray zone. And we're like, oh my god, he's getting older.
Uh-huh.
One of my guys, I got him when he was old, and after 5 6 years, I think I still thought he was like 5, but he was already 12. I totally lost track of time.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
goes so
yeah.
fast. And then I went to the doctor because he had started having some issues. And how old is he? And I said 6. No, he's 12.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, I have him here forever. He's like older than he's supposed to be. He should be dead by now, kind of thing. And so we got beyond that line. So I think our subject today is really interesting because many people don't pay attention to the age. They're get comfortable with it, having a dog forever and the best friends, and it's gonna go slow and slow and become older and older. But then we miss that switching point where we
Mhm.
still have to pay attention not only to our age but also to the dog's age.
And you know what else too, Roman? There are a lot of people that will relinquish their dogs because of aging, because the dog can no longer do the things that they want. They're now peeing in the house, or they have some behavior issues. So we're going to address that today too, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
the things that don't give up your dog because of this. Now have an open mind that this is what to expect.
There's a bigger confusion here how people recognize the aging. So, for example, I see people all of a sudden the dog starts being crampy, he doesn't eat well, and then we have the dog having accidents in the house, he starts barking at people, and there's a miscommunication and misunderstanding what's actually happening here. So, we see behavior changes and we see physical changes, and we believe that the dog is a bad dog now, and we feel
Right,
betrayed,
right.
right?
Yeah,
We
right.
feel we feel the dog doesn't love us anymore and he's out of control. And then we take over responsibility and says, wait a minute, this dog is a liability. I have my I have my grandkids coming for a visit, and my kids don't want to come and visit me because I cannot see my grandkids anymore because of my dog's behavior. And this is where then people have to make a choice or being put in a choice. You want to see your grandkids? Not with that dog in your house.
Oh,
And then
who
there's an
says
automatic,
that? Really? People say
oh,
that?
oh yeah, yeah. I have a lot of clients who come in and says, "This is my problem here. My kids don't come to my house because of my dog, and I cannot see my grandkids. So I can go to them, but they cannot come to me, which I understand. We have a lady kind of 60, 70, 80 years old with a big mastiff, and there was never an issue. But suddenly the dog gets crampy, he has thyroid
Yeah.
issues, he has health issues, and it just doesn't want to be bothered by the doorbell and the kids ramming and screaming
Yeah.
around. And he will be reactive, or she will be reactive. Well,
Right. Yeah. You know,
forget.
I have to laugh at that because a dog always can tell you whether a person is good or not. So maybe some of your relatives, maybe it's
Well,
a good thing.
the science is not clear about that because dog is not a psychic,
Yeah.
but it can observe behaviors and patterns. So if a person being mean and being not nice in Japanese environment, it comes through the expression. But so we cannot say the dog knows people. That's not the case. So studies have shown that the dogs don't know people, but they
Okay.
can judge people based on their behaviors. So a kid that runs around in the house and being a jerk and screams and yells and upsets mom or
Mm-hmm.
grandmother, the dog will react to that. If a person comes in the house and not paying attention to the rules of the house, ignores the dog, gives the mom a big hug, the dog can trigger to that. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to pay attention to that. So definitely, I see when we do consultations a lot of people coming in with ultimatums. I have to get rid of my dog. My doctor told me that I have to put my dog down. I have to put my dog on medication. My dog is too aggressive. I'm dealing with these kind of cases all the time. So I
Mm-hmm.
recognize that most of the time there's a lack of communication. People don't recognize the signs. So I think it's a good thing to say that after a dog being see the first signs in your face, starts slowing down, and you can see already some patches here and there, and the doctor already says, yeah, well, we have to start doing some extra tests, making sure your dog is healthy.
Right.
This is
Right.
already a
Yeah.
loving sign to have to switch your mind into senior mode. Okay.
Right.
Now, the importance of a senior mode is we have to pay attention to in underlying medical health conditions. And it starts with people don't pay attention to the dog's nutrition. So, healthy nutrition is important to extend your dog's lifespan. You can literally add 1 or 2 years on top of it. Yeah, everybody wants a forever dog. Everybody wants the dog to be as old as we can because we need to go for walks. We need enrichment, our own enrichment. We need our companion. We need eventually a service dog. And it starts with healthy food. Healthy food makes the dog healthy, but at the same time, we need to make sure that we are low on chemicals in the house, right?
Yeah.
We have to switch our mind. Anyway, we need to be healthy in general. So our detergents, our cleaning supplies, our smoke candles, and all these things that are chemicals that are not organic and not healthy, they need to go. A extends your lifetime, extends your health conditions, but it definitely affects the dog too. And it starts with the detergent you wash your clothes, the sprays you use in the house, the cleaning supplies that you use, even the plastic bowls that the dog is feeding from, and of course, the quality of dog food, and which is a whole chapter to talk about. As it is important for us as seniors to pay attention to our nutritional intake, dogs are even more sensitive to that nutritional intake. Um, One thing that I usually see is um, well, the word I'm missing, thyroid problems. And thyroid is not only with senior dogs, it can happen very early at age.
Yeah. And what are the signs of that? Because my doctor had said that Charlie had thyroid problems.
It's an epidemic.
What is it? I mean, what's the signs of it? They gain weight or
There are different types of signs that we can see on thyroid, and I'm not a thyroid expert, but I
okay.
give you a couple of hints. Usually, dogs have a low threshold to stress. There's an easy beginning of happening. The dog starts eating a little bit more, a little bit less. There's a fluctuation of the dog's intake because the thyroid is also important. It regulates the health issues with the dog starts having health issues, allergies and stuff like that. So definitely, before you see a sign, you have to take care of it because if you see a sign, thyroid is already extended and there is already a problem. So
Oh
I would
boy.
definitely go to get veterinarian and draw blood and do a basic thyroid full panel test. And I put a link in the comments about that, because having a baseline will help you see how does my dog is right now and how my dog will be in a year from now. And then you can see where you're going with this. The
Okay.
first thing that I find, that I have people coming in with aggression issues and low tolerance. Suddenly my dog snaps at my other dog. Suddenly my dog is reacting to my grandkids. Suddenly my dog gets vicious when sounds and noises happening. The first thing I says, go do a thyroid test, making
Oh,
sure.
really?
Yeah.
Now that's
And
an
I'm telling
you
you,
know
it's like,
that alone is an excellent tip
yeah,
for today.
seven out of 10 clients have thyroid issues. But here's the problem: sometimes veterinarians don't see that as very important. They just do a regular T3, T4, T3, T4 test.
Uh-huh.
But that doesn't really show anything other than those two markers. We need more than that. We need to see the combination of things and how they affect in general. And that's why just a regular thyroid test will not give you, it's just waste of money. Let's call it this way.
Same thing for humans too.
Right, right.
It's a waste with humans
Yeah. And
because you
how
can
many times we went to the doctor and says, you're fine, you're healthy. Like, no, I'm not. I feel
exactly.
miserable.
Yeah, yeah. My
No,
hair's falling out. My nails are brittle.
yeah.
I'm
But these are the
irritable.
extreme cases. These are the advanced. We want to catch it early so we can address it. And I can see most of the clients want to start on thyroid support. Things improve like in 3 to 4 weeks. It's faster than putting the dog on separation anxiety medication or stress
Mhm.
medication. It takes like 3 weeks to kick in, and then you have to do adjustments. But
Right.
Dr. Jean Dodds from um, the organization called Hemopet, they're specializing in those thyroid tests, and this is where I usually send people. Take the sample, send it in, done, check. They talk to you, they give you instructions, they give you a plan, and you just go with it, no problem. But that's not the only thing. We see also dogs with having joint issues, especially dogs um, with inflammation. They will have issues with the skin. They slow down with their movements. They're having itchy patch. They have scratching. They have inflammation on the skin, and then you can see already there is a bigger issue there, because sometimes age and medication and bad quality food and stress can cause internal issues. For example, leaky guts.
Mhm.
And the whole thing goes like in other dimensions, because
And
leaky
skin
guts,
tags.
right?
Skin tags, yeah.
The protein starts leaking in in the blood system, and the dogs start having allergy issues. And then we blame the food. Yeah, we can blame the food, but the reality is we have to start treating from inside out. Especially
Mhm.
for senior dogs, we have to adjust the nutritional value anyway for senior levels. But so we need to look into senior dog foods. They're different than the maintenance and regular dog foods. And then we have to start adding some supplements, joint supplements. But again, all these supplements you have to tighter in. You cannot just go full dose in the beginning, because the dog will react and start having throw ups and having digestive issues. So you have to tighter all these supplements in conjunction with your veterinary consultation slowly into the dog's diet. But important also is people forget the probiotics, prebiotics, probiotics. All these things are important, because if you don't have these little buggers in the digestive system, will not be able to absorb the nutrients that a dog needs. So the
Mhm.
dog basically starves of nutrition, even if he has healthy food.
So
And so
malnutrition, yeah.
probiotics, prebiotics, healthy vegetables, healthy fruits, healthy foods, all these things. And yeah, I totally agree with people who says, but I want to share my food with my dog. Yes, you should, no problem. Dogs did that for thousands of years, no problem. But we have to be careful with what we're giving them.
Yeah,
So
right. A
no
McDonald's hot
toxins, of course, no
hamburger.
chocolate and stuff like that. I would totally avoid sugars.
Yeah.
Stick away from sugars, low carbs, low sugars. If you eat healthy, usually your dog can have that too. Yeah, you can have mushrooms, not the ones you're gonna have
Yeah.
fun with it, but the regular mushroom you get in the kitchen. Fruits, vegetables, most of them you can feed your dog. Check in with your veterinarian, see if your dog has any specific things that he shouldn't have because of his allergies or his conditions. But um, Otherwise, no
Did you
problem.
ever see those videos of the dogs that are eating broccoli and celery and
Yeah,
carrots and stuff?
yeah. Well,
I love to
dogs
hear
have
I
preferences,
love
right?
to hear the crunching sound of them
Yeah,
eating.
yeah.
Isn't that cool? Yeah.
I would say most vegetables that are a little bit steamed is healthy for the dogs.
Okay.
Don't overkill it. You can always share pieces or two with your dog, no problem. He doesn't have to have a whole menu of broccoli because
Right.
you're gonna smell it and you're gonna have problems with that. We need to keep an eye on carbs. We need to keep an eye on fats. We can eye on fiber. So we need to kind of keep a balance. We cannot think human here. We have to still think carnivore that
Right.
adjusts himself to our diet. And otherwise, yeah,
Well, I have a question. I saw the other day on TikTok that there was a woman that was bathing her dog's feet in apple cider vinegar for Frito feet. The smell of the Fritos, the
right.
yeast. Is
That
that
is no. I will be very careful with the social media.
I was gonna that's my
Yeah,
point. Social media gives
if
you a
you want
lot
to
of
treat
instructions.
yeast infection, you don't treat yeast infection exterior. You start treating yeast infection from interior. So imbalanced digestive system, lack of probiotics will affect yeast infections, right?
Okay.
So I wouldn't start doing any treatments until I consult at least a holistic veterinarian and kind of check things out because it could be bacteria, it could be just yeast infection.
Okay, so holistic veterinarians versus regular veterinarians.
It's a
Pros
big
and
difference.
cons.
My personally, because I'm a holistic behavior consultant, my thought is we cannot see holistic veterinarians as people who drive Prius. Okay, holistic
Okay.
veterinarians are veterinarians. They're educated people, just like every other veterinarian. Plus, they look into alternative treatment plans, right? So
Right.
sometimes we have to make sure that we take care of the urgency of the dog's medical condition, but then we know that Western medicine, usually medications have an issue with having a lot of side effects. And
Okay.
the veterinarians usually treat what they see. It's hard for them to treat what's underneath that. We have to be honest, veterinary visit is 15 minutes. How much information can you get out in 15 minutes? You barely have said what your problem is, and the doctor has to give you already the answer and prescribe it before the 15 minutes clock clicks.
Hmm. Yeah.
So we have that an issue. But a holistic veterinarian, usually at private businesses, they sit down with you and walk you through the whole process. This is what we're treating right now to stop the dog from being in pain. But the pain medication cause kidney issues and liver issues. Let's do a long treatment plan and wind that emergency medicine down and then treat in long-term underlying medical condition as well. So yeah, the holistic veterinarians can be a little bit pricey, right? Because they have more knowledge and it's a little bit more expensive. But I think for a long term, it's a good investment.
Well, so now the equal to that for a human is a functional medicine
Right.
doctor. They look at exactly what the issues are, and let's come up with a solution. It could be a combination of your emotions, your thoughts causing illnesses, and it's not
Right. Right.
actually a physical illness, but it's a physical illness that resulted because of a
Right.
mental situation, because
For
of a thought.
example, in senior dogs, if we know that a dog has been raised in a breeding farm, we know there is a long-term chronic stress, and chronic
Right.
stress can cause internal problems. Internal problems can cause illness and also behavior issues. Not having taken consideration and just treating the dog with medication is not really helping the dog for what he really struggles with.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah.
lack of secure attachment can cause the dog so much stress that eventually he's going to get up on stress medication. All he needs to do is basically improve his relationship with his owner or caregiver. Even if that's a senior, seniors usually are being moved around because of housing issues, downsizing, coming close to your kids and stuff like that. The dog goes through an entire stress response. We miss that part. Oh, my dog is stressed. We give him medication. No, the dog goes through relocation stress. It's different.
Right. Yeah. So now
And then
speaking
we
of
have
the oh, I'm sorry, go
go ahead.
ahead.
No, no, no. Go ahead. I'm
I
just
was going
taking
to
over.
say, so speaking of the dog's physical condition, there's a lot of chronic conditions that occur. And that's another reason why people will relinquish their animals, because diabetes, kidney, and other illnesses. It could be heart health. It could be cardiovascular. Oh my gosh, my dog has a heart murmur, and therefore I want to give it up. Why is it that people are so it's so easy for them to say, "Oh, I can give up an animal." How can you give up an animal? Would you give up your child?
I
Yeah,
would say we have to see the cost problem here.
yeah,
Seniors sometimes barely can pay the bills and have conditions that sometimes need extra money for that. We have Christmas gifts and Easter gifts and kids and grandkids. All these things come together. Plus, we have the maintenance of the house. And now we have the dog. One vet visit starts with at least $150.
yep.
And one vet visit can cost you $2,000. And then I've been in that situation. My wife went through cancer, and I had to go to the doctors with the vet and with my doctor, the vet. And the bill supposed to be $2,500. I was like, I don't have that money. Do we have an alternative option? He says, yeah, you can surrender your dog. I'm like, what? What
Oh,
are you talking
really? So
about?
there's an
Yeah,
encouragement to do
he
that?
just threw that out there. Look, well, if you cannot afford it, you're abusing your dog for not treating him. Then surrender your dog. I said, I came for a proposal,
Oh my
not
gosh,
for a
really?
surrendering form.
Wow. I
Yeah,
didn't
I
know
was
that
wow.
that's
It was
where
an
it's
emergency
gone to.
clinic.
So they're encouraging either that or euthanasia,
Yeah, they go that tactic. So either you pay or you have to surrender your dog.
and there's no
You-
payment plans.
Well,
Some will do payment plans, but not
some
really.
some do, but you have to go to a banking institute to get that payment plan.
Yeah,
When if you already credit your credit cards with all these health issues that you don't have, and the contractor coming and build your house out because your entrance needs a wider door because of your wheelchair. Yeah, well,
yeah,
yeah, if you don't have $1,500 separated on a dog bank account, you're putting your dog and yourself at risk. As simple as that.
yeah. And isn't that,
Yeah,
by the way,
and
we
it's
went
so
backwards.
expensive right now that even insurances back away from their pet insurance plans. They start excluding things, and you don't know about that. You're paying the bill, and you end up paying out of your pocket anyway.
Well, my friend Ellen, well, you don't know, but my friend Ellen, her dog was Rico, and Rico was a complex therapy dog for canine companions, and he was the complex dog that would help the kids out at Ronald McDonald.
Right.
She had pet insurance, and still it cost $12,000 in her end of it for the last 2 months of his life, because she wanted to do whatever she could.
Right.
And then it turned out that the dog was over medicated, which was causing more problems, and yada yada. So in retrospect, she's thinking, well, gosh, did I do the right thing? Didn't I do the right thing? And yes, she did. She went out, because Ellen is very tenacious on that. So we run into this vicious cycle. Should we do something? Should we do nothing? If we do nothing, are they in pain? If they're in pain, should we give them pain medication? Where are
Right.
we at? Well, doesn't that hold true for humans as well too? The good news is with humans is that we can talk about it. The bad news is with an animal, they can't. And they have to depend upon us to help them.
Yes, and we have to step up and
We need to step up.
for
Yeah,
them, but we need to not feeling intimidated by somebody who works in a corporate vet's office and just has to push that dollar sign.
dollar sign.
Every time you ask a question, it costs you more and more. You just stop asking questions and get out as quickly as possible, but putting your dogs at risk. So if that's the relationship with your vet, go to another vet. There are other vets out there where you eventually seems to be more expensive, but it's cheaper at the end. And
That's funny, Roman, because I can remember last year when Charlie he was getting his shots and everything, and the vet kept saying, well, he's got this spot on his back, and he's got all these little tumors all over, and we need to do biopsies and all that. And well, exactly why? Why do we need to do that? Why? Because for you or for him?
it's going to kill him. How many years from now it's going to kill him?
Because whatever it is that is wrong with him, it's going to stay that way, because I'm not going to cut it out of him. I'm not going to do anything.
Right.
He's going to be 18. I'm happy that he's even walking. You
I mean,
know, speak.
it's common sense as seeing your dog, putting him under anesthesia is already a huge risk.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
right.
what's the end goal? Take your money as much as possible before your dog dies, like squeezing out the last thing. And as you said, a perfect as I was about to say, dogs with cataracts, they start don't seeing well because of food, because of blood sugar, because all these issues
Yeah,
happening here, and then have hearing issues. They have ear infections. They have chronic ear infections because of, as we said before, lack of probiotics, unhealthy food, accumulation, and all of a sudden they go, what? What? And then we have this selective deafness, what most people call it, but
yeah.
usually it's when the dog is so in pain with his joints that he actually doesn't respond to cues like sit or come, go to your bed, and let's go and stuff like that, or becomes very slow on the walk.
Hmm.
So things like seems to be hearing issues, but usually it's pain issues. So if you see a dog not doing suddenly things that he usually does, this is already a alarming sign that something is not happy.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to mention here because on the last show we had talked about what has changed with me and Charlie, and I told you that I'm very aware of what's going on with him, and he has both. He has hearing issues and he has sight issues. The one thing I learned, and I think that this would be beneficial to the audience, is when they lose their hearing and they lose their sight, there's a fear that enters in. So with him not being able to see properly, he gets panicked, and I can feel on his body that
Right.
he's huffing and he gets hot. He gets like a sweaty, like a moist feeling. So I have
Right.
to
Right.
calm him down and tell him it's okay. I'm right here. I'm right here. I have to soothe him with that. And if he hits the wall and it startles him because he thought he was going somewhere. So these are things that we need to
Mhm.
notice as well to help our animals through this time in their life because it's scary to not hear and not see. Just think about it. Close your eyes for a minute and try and walk around your room.
Well, the good thing is that dogs have not only ears and eyes, they have their nose that actually this is a main coordinator. But if we have strong aroma kennels, if we have strong floor cleaners, the dog loses that sense of orientation because it smells everywhere the same.
Yeah,
I
right.
would
Good
go
point.
clean just, some vinegar, some water, and some lavender oil, done clean, right? The floor. And just cleaning more often is better than kind of going deep chemicals. But also for dogs who are blind, we want to make sure that we have corridors because dogs remember very well.
Right.
Clear corridors to the kitchen, to the bathroom, to the exit. And some dogs who have to navigate around complex situations because their room is small, you don't have areas to move around things. They have these little harnesses that have this little bar in front of
Yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah. I've
Okay.
seen
And
those.
they kind
Right.
of, before they hit the wall, they hit the bars. Whoa. Like a little,
Yeah.
what's the little car called in the amusement park?
Go karts, the go
Yeah,
karts.
the little kitten cars where you hit each other with the antenna. These
Yeah,
cars,
right, right.
bumper cars. That is what.
Bumper cars. Yeah, that's it. So
So,
let's talk about the behavior and the cognitive changes that occur because this exact same thing happens with humans, and I can
mhm,
attest to that as well. You know, so there's these similarities between the two, and a lot has to do with cognitive decline in brain function, but it also has to do with lack of oxygen, poor heart functions, and some of these things. So if we're aware of that and we understand that some things that we may have done before with our dogs are not prone to want to do it now. A, because they physically can't do it like they used to, but B, because it irritates them to do it. They don't want to do it, and they don't want to be pushed to go and to catch the ball and all of that, that like they did before, and encourage them. They don't
right,
want the kid pulling on their hair. They don't want them sitting on their back. That's bad to begin with, but definitely when they're older, and then wonder why he snapped or she snapped. Well, of course they're letting you know, I don't want to do that anymore.
yeah.
Same thing with older folks. We can watch it on TV, but that doesn't mean we want to do it anymore. I don't want to travel anymore. I don't want to do the things that a lot of things I can't do. but the cognitive side of it, the activity level really diminishes a great deal. And like you pointed out in the very beginning, you might be a young person that adopted an older dog, and you might not really be able to handle and understand what's going on in that dog's mind, because when you got it, it went and it fetched that frisbee or fetched that ball, but doesn't want to now. Wants to sleep, wants to be in the sun.
Right. Well, making the right choice in our age, we have to be careful how what dog we want to get in our family.
Uh-huh.
So, but I want to kind of stick a little bit with the cognitive problems that we said before, because decreased activities and stuff like that. Because it's very difficult to make the assessment, I made a list.
Aha. Okay.
So for you guys who are interested, put in the comments, I need one too.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the comments, type in, I need a cognitive dysfunction screening checklist. And then I'll
Yes.
send it to you. So what the checklist is, basically, it has the name of the dog and the list, because you may have more than one dog, right? And then it has the date, and that first date is your first thing that you do, like tomorrow, for example. If you get the list today, you're going to start filling out tomorrow, and you're going to go through confusion states, relationships, activity levels, anxieties, sleep wake cycles, learning memory, and then you make a number on it in a scale from 1 to 5. And then you get a sum on each page, and you put the pages together, and at the end you have a number, and that number will give me a better understanding in what amount that cognitive dysfunction is. And that we can then put together a treatment plan to help you stabilize it. It will not get better, but we can extend it a little bit longer through nutrition, through exercises, through cognitive games, through improved relationship skills, through proper choices of nutrition and supplements, in a conversation with your vet. If you go with that list to your vet, the vet will like, whoa, where did you got that list from? I want one too. Just saying, right? And so, yeah, that would be a good idea to start with, to get a baseline. And then 3-4 months later, make another check and see if that number changed. So some of my clients, I work also with clients who are seniors. I noticed that doing the cognitive behavior test, they notice that certain things the doctor declines faster than other things,
Uh-huh.
which helps us focusing on more things. So, for example, the sleep-wake cycle changes. How can we improve the dog's sleep cycle? Because if the dog doesn't sleep well, he cannot recover well. He doesn't recover well, he gets super stressed. If he gets stressed, he gets sick. And so it goes cycles.
Exactly right. Yeah. Right.
So that was that. So if you want that list, put me. I want a list, and we're gonna send it to you, and making sure we get it in your inbox. So the other one that you start talking about was about God, I lost about that. Changing irritability and anxiety and depression. That's part of that cognitive decline, and also having joint issues. It's also part of the health parts that will decline over time.
Yeah.
And heart issues usually happens together: over vaccinations, bad quality food, not enough exercises, and then environmental stressors, environmental factor, toxins in the house, toxins in the system. So usually, talking again with a holistic veterinarian will help a lot get that managed. So usually when I have a behavior issues, I start with rule out the check veterinary stuff in the consultation, and then we see what's left for behavior stuff, and we separate those two things and see which one of those are interconnected.
Well,
Separation anxiety, aggression,
yes. And,
right?
and that is really resonating with me, because for me to get up, because of well, not only the fact that I have oxygen issues, I have to go slowly because I get dizzy. So when I get up, I have to make a conscious effort to get up. And I noticed that about Charlie. Now, I told you in the last show that he follows me like Velcro. If he sees me moving, I see him struggling to try to get up. It's like he gets panicked, like, don't get out of my sight, mom.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
let him know it's okay, take your time. However long it takes you to get up, that's all right. You don't have to try and jump up and hurt yourself. Just do that. And I wonder how many of us take a look at our dog and watch them when we walk out of a room.
Right.
Do you see that they struggle to try and get up and try and move with you? So now I'm finding that I'm watching him just like he's watching me.
It's a tricky situation, and I really kind of empathize with people. We want to have the dog as long as possible. We are afraid to lose another friend.
Yeah, don't get
It's
me started. Yeah.
right, but it's
Oof.
something we have to talk about because a we're not young anymore. We need a contingency plan for our
Mhm.
dog. One, who's gonna get our dog? What is the financial support? Do I have something aside for that dog to be treated? That needs to be cleared out. And if my dog is behavior challenged, I need to find somebody who actually can handle that dog.
Mhm.
Is that a person, a relative, a trainer, a sanctuary? Who would that be? Right? And so that's the one part. Then the other part, important for us to be, and talk about the elephant in the room. What about making the choice? When is a good time to let go of our dog?
And is it a choice to have your dog go with you at the time? Because,
Right?
do you want that? Do you want your dog? I mean, the thought of me dying and then having Charlie go to somebody else, nobody would take care of him. Not the way, and I'm really torn on this. I really am because he's got a lot of health issues that he's doing fine with. He's handling them fine, but how will he be if I'm not here? Because nobody's going to pay attention to him the way I do.
It
And
seems
would
like,
he be mistreated? Would he be
right?
would he not get the loving care? And all for the sake, I mean, so I, I'm kind of leaning towards taking him with me.
That problem must be so important that if we look back 50, 60, 70,000 years in the back, people had the same problem.
Hmm.
How many sightings we have, archaeological sightings, where people are in the grave next to their dogs? And the
Yeah,
question is, who died first, or did they die together?
yeah, right.
Right? So I think the ability of dogs to bond in such a level with humans, not only physical, but also emotional and spiritual, we see there is something bigger than that. And we want to share that out to the end.
Yeah.
Now, we are pushed to the edge of our age limits with medication and support, and but dogs are trapped. They cannot walk away and die themselves. They have to stay close with us, and we close north. And if they start having a tendency to be sick, we're going to go treat them right away and fix that. But where is that line where we say, what is better for my dog? What is the quality of life of my dog? Him not being able to get up, he can get frustrated because he doesn't have to, cannot go to this bathroom on his own, feeling not being part of service anymore is so stressful to the dog that sometimes we have to
Hmm.
make that choice for him. It's too struggling for him to be in his bed like a dead person. I have to pick him up, and it's not about the people. It's really about the dog and how he's going through that process of not being able to be supportive.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
we have to give the
I
dog
can just,
has
I
the
can
purpose,
feel that. Yeah.
right? If the dog doesn't have the purpose anymore, what's the reason of his being in life? The
Hmm.
dogs don't commit suicide, don't take me wrong here, but sometimes they walk away and lay down and let it pass.
Hmm.
They cannot do that in our house. It's really constrained.
Yeah.
I have a list. It's not my list, but I got this list more from a holistic perspective, adjusted a little bit. So we have to take some things in consideration that regular scientists don't take in consideration to make that call. Because one thing I see very often is our fear of loss is overpowering to be helpful for the dog's quality of life. We push it too far because of our fear. And I think
Right.
we have to be, if we are loving and caring and coming from a unconditional love perspective, sometimes we have to let go what we love because we love it too much for that to suffer,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the question
I,
is, when is that line? And so
yeah.
sometimes we have to be think with our heart, 51%, and then 49% put some logic into it.
Right. Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
My dog is on medical support. My dog has to do this. My dog has to. He's basically burning out internally for me to see the dog moving and seeing him alive. Is that what we want to do here?
Yeah. Right.
And then, of course,
See,
I'm
to
not the
me, the
person.
barometer is pain. If he's in
Right,
pain, that's
right. But
I can't deal
define
with it.
pain.
Define
Define
pain.
if the dog doesn't do things because he's in pain. If he does them, him not being in pain by laying in bed doesn't make him being in pain.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
where is the pain? The pain is not existing until the dog actually does something, then the pain is present.
Right.
So we
Yeah.
see pain, but the dog not doing certain things. But we
Okay.
can measure pain. A veterinarian can actually do a blood test and see if there are pain markers there and make a choice how much that is. And then we can say, okay, if I put my dog on supplements, if I took my dog on certain medication, will that improve the pain? Will I get the quality of life back? Yeah, go for it. Knock yourself out with it. Perfect. Your dog has fun. I have seen dogs perping up with some supplements, a little bit of oxygen therapy. They're up and running for
Yeah.
another
Right.
year.
Right. Yeah.
I bought myself an ozone generator and actually created ozone generator water for my dogs to drink with us and family too. And then I did rectal ozone therapy for my dog, and I got him
Good.
another year out of his cancer. Did he
Good.
suffer? No, he was fine until the last day.
Yeah.
Literally, he collapsed the last day. I was like, I'm done. Like, okay. I barely
Yeah.
got him in the car, and that was it. He almost died on his way to
So,
the vet.
so in essence, these are really our friends. These creatures are they
Yeah,
become just like any other friend. Wouldn't you want to take care of your friend, or would you want to watch them deteriorate? Wouldn't you want to suggest to them that, do you think you really should be eating those 16 Big Macs every day and sitting on your ass and doing nothing? Or do you think
right,
maybe you
right.
might want to move around a little bit? Which now let's go into what can we do together. I've got a couple of pictures here that here's some things we can do. We can laugh together. We can enjoy each other,
Mm,
right?
right.
We can go we can meditate in silence. We can be together in silence in a nice calm place. We can let me see what else. We can let our dogs take care of us, right? And we can learn to recognize, like Roman says, when they're letting you know in their face that I'm not feeling good, mom. I'm not feeling good, dad. Just let me be for right now. See, he's got grass next to him because he brought some grass inside. That's the way he knows how to feel. So just like us, we want to be left alone and we want to do things together. Um, I see such a parallel with it. The difference is that the dogs are a gift to us, but we're a gift to them as well. And if we support each other, I think that's my big main thing.
Definitely, we have an emotional, physical, and spiritual responsibility as partners because we have an arrangement. We just don't come here kind of out of nowhere. The dog doesn't show up out of nowhere. There is a collective arrangement happening here. We're not really aware of that, but that's what I see on my side.
Right. And
And
go to
so,
a dog park. Yeah, go to a dog park. I'm sorry. Take your dog for a walk with you. Dress funny. Dress funky. Dress in a fun way that you're gonna feel good. But just know that if your dog looks at you with those eyes and they tell you it's time, then you know it's time.
yeah,
Yeah.
meditation helps a lot.
Meditation does help a lot. And speaking of that, we have a did I tell you that we got a new we've got a new canine community reporter.
I'm curious
She's
about that.
Yeah, her name is Georgia, and she's new. So, let's hear from her, okay, before we close the show.
Georgia here. I'm reporting to the Dog Connection TV. I'm a canine community reporter and I'm proud of it. Well, today I'm out and about because I'm looking at all of these old people. They're sitting on their butts, they're not doing anything, and they got to realize that they need a dog. You know why? Because a dog is one that's going to get you up in the morning and get you out. Because if you don't, then you're going to see poop and pee in the house. It's going to be all over, so it's up to you. So here's what I do with my mom. I make certain that every morning I get her up. And how do I do that? I lick her. I come up to her. I push her. I lay against her. I do whatever I can to get her up. Now, once she's up, this is a good thing. But I got to let her know, hey, you got to let me out right away because you don't want to see poop on the floor. So I go around in circles. I go up to her. I go to the door. You know, it's a difficult thing to train these humans, but once they get it, they get it. But I got to make certain that they are aware of me. So when I go and then she lets me out, that's great. But what about her now? Because she needs exercise too. So I go and get the leash so that I can take her for a walk. And that's what we do. We go out every single day, a couple times a day. It's really a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Again, this is Georgia, Canine Community Reporter for the Dog Connection TV.
Thank you, Georgia. That was very
Yeah, thanks,
interesting.
Georgia. Yeah. She's kind of cute. She's new, but she's got a good pulse on everything. So,
She had this Georgia tone.
Georgia on my mind. Yeah, Georgia. So, Roman, closing thoughts here.
First of all, if you're struggling with your dog and your dog is a senior dog, or you want to get kind of a baseline of how things are and how much your dog may be struggling from cognitive dysfunction, or it could be a behavior issues, you're welcome to reach out and have a consultation, and we can send you some documentation to fill out a form to kind of figure things out, what's happening, and take it from there. I do believe that we need to look for outside of our personal thoughts and ego and deep into having a dog who is dependent on me. The dog cannot eat himself, he cannot get out himself. All these restrictions are in place. We need to step up for that and give him as much freedom as possible. One thing that I had with my dogs in general, I wanted to give them as many freedom I can afford possibly, which means in the house they only had a collar and a tag on, and that tag was covered in rubber so it doesn't jingle and jungle like that. They had free room of the house. I had a fenced yard. Even if I had a bigger acre property, I still have a smaller acre property for the dogs to be free running around and play around. Healthy food as much as I can afford. It will not be perfect, but as better as can. It's like we're having a forever child. And they
Exactly.
support us. We need to support them back in all possible ways.
There's a picture I thought I had put it up here. I wanted to show that gives the perfect picture.
Right?
Yep. There we go. Yeah. That's who they are. Let them, there's, in closing on this, there's always that question about should I let my dog sleep in bed with me? Well, hell
Yeah.
yeah. Why
Right. Well, my dog always sleeps in his bed every time in the morning. Is she awake? Is she alive?
Yeah.
Okay. She's good.
Yeah, exactly. Well, with Charlie, with him, even though I have stairs and everything, he can jump down from the bed, but he can't jump up. And even with the stairs, I still have to help him up. So it's my sleepless nights many times are because of the fact that he's letting me know I can't get back up, Mom. I can't get back up. Even with a ramp, he's afraid to go up the ramp because they don't have sides on it. I
Right.
wish they would build ramps with sides on them. How come they don't do that? That should go on our wish list of things that we should have.
Okay. Good
Yeah.
thought. Any investors out there who want to build
Yeah,
their
any
own
investor. Yeah,
sidewalks?
we all need a dog needs to feel secure when they're walking up that ramp. They
Okay.
do. Yeah.
Totally agree with you on that.
Yeah. So anyway, it was a wonderful show, Roman. We're 50 minutes, and I think the only thing I'm going to say is for those of you that are women over 55, we would love for you to join the. I'm going to put this up here for you to join the Golden Connections. You can have a request to join at thegoldenconnections.com. And for those of you that want to have more information from Roman, go to holisticdogtraining.org. And hopefully we will see you next week. If not, we'll see you the week after. We're toying with having the best support that we can for everything. Let me see who's here now. Okay. Oh, hi, Bonnie. Oh, hi. Oh, that's my dear close friend Bonnie. So okay, you guys, thanks so much for joining us. And okay, excuse me a second here. I'm trying to get myself navigated. I'm producing this show, so sometimes I get a little bit screwed up
All these
on it.
buttons pushing the
Yeah,
levers.
with all the buttons. Yeah, right. Okay, everyone. Thanks so much. Bye.